Shit! What do we think is shit? Thank you.
Welcome to another episode of the Clock Enders podcast. I'm your host, Reginald Dino. Just finished watching Chelsea versus Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. Tough, hard-fought battle to come away with a draw, 1-1. Boy. These are 2 points you needed to have. It's going to be a tough task to catch Liverpool. And I know we all want to see Manchester City lose because they cheat and they're very unlikable. They have very unlikable players. They have a very unlikable manager. Or I should say, well, I'll call him a manager. He's not a coach because, anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But I was watching the game today and it was just like, who's more unlikable, Marc Cucurella or Pep Guardiola? If they were both crossing the street, I don't know. I don't know if I would hit the brakes. I don't know. That's probably not nice to say, but I don't know. You know what? Marc Cucurella is a very good defender. He played Saka very, very well today. It's just the complaining and the moaning and everything's a card and rolling around and the slightest touch, rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. You know, that's why I don't like Cucurella. It's not because of the person that he is. It's different for Pep Guardiola. He's a piece of garbage that everybody praises, and I don't know why. But anyways, we won't get into all of that. Focusing on the game. I told you I was going to do a show for the Champions League game at Inter Milan during the week. Lost that game 1-0 in the San Siro. Had a guy on one of my teams. He's an Inter fan. It's just funny when you look back, and I hope I don't sound like this when I'm talking, but very delusional fans out there. He was saying that there wasn't really much different between the two teams that game. Now, if you watch the game, you know what happened. When Arsenal play like that with 10 men against Manchester City at Manchester City's home, it's dark arts, it's naive, it's scared, it's Arteta's lost the plot. When you go to San Siro and Inter Milan play like that against Arsenal, it's a defensive masterclass. Simeone, Inzaghi's a genius. What guts, what heart, what great play by Inter Milan. It's I don't know what else to say, guys. It's the same commentators that are hammering Arsenal for playing that way against Manchester City in 10 and then praising another team for doing the exact same thing. I don't get it. This is why you can't listen to these commentators and view and make your opinions off of that. I don't think Inter Milan crossed half field the second half and got a very dodgy penalty. We hear all week your hands has to be in a natural position. Well, his hand was in a natural position for the shape of his body. I don't know where Moreno's going to put his hand. But anyways, I bring up Champions League because Arsenal was playing in it, but I think if we're going to get a major trophy this year as the Arsenal, it's got to be Champions League. I honestly, guys, I think the league's done. I think the league, I'm not a guy that looks at the table before December, but with that draw, we are now 11 points behind Liverpool. How are we going to make up those numbers? 11. How are we going to make up 11 points? Liverpool's going to have to draw and lose games in a row, 2, 3, 4. I don't see that happening the way they play. I was telling my staunch Liverpool fan, like, not much difference between Arne Slot and Jurgen Klopp, is there? Maybe it's the players. And then I got a whole bunch of flack for that. Jurgen Klopp's the best, this, that, and the third. I mean, he bought those players, and I'm like, yeah, okay, he bought those players, but the players are playing a different style now because Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot are totally different managers. They're playing a different style now, and they're still getting results. It's got to be the players, right? Don't want to rile up any Liverpool fans. Jurgen Klopp's a god amongst walking men. Okay, all right, you happy? Good. But anyways, I don't know where we're gonna make up those points. Like I said, I know we all want to catch Manchester City. Manchester City is only, I believe, 4 points ahead of us now. And they've lost 4 in a row. Arsenal lost one game for the year, and it was the sky's falling. My God, what's happening at Arsenal? They're terrible. They stink. Manchester City's lost 4 in a row, and we don't hear anything about it. Arsenal are missing Odegaard, their most influential creative player, and you saw it today. He came back and got an assist. Our most creative, influential player, our captain, we're missing him, and we're going through a stretch like this. They're going to tell you, "Oh, Rodri's not hurt. That's why it's looking like this." It's okay. Rodri's hurt. I mean, their best player's hurt. How come it's good for one team and not the other? Again, guys, I've said this millions and millions and millions of times. Your own opinion. Use your own eyes. Use your own head, your own brain, and look at what's happening and make your own decisions. Do not listen to these guys that are talking to you. They're morons. The day I start taking information from Gary Neville and Patrice Evra and Paul Scholes and Michael Owen and the other idiot, who's the other? Jamie Carragher. The day I start taking my opinions from them, I stop doing the show. Awful. Talking just to talk. Saying the most outrageous things just to get clicks and views. But people listen to that and say, yeah, you know what? Yeah. Cole Palmer's world class. World class. Why? Because he's English? World class? Guys, to me, world class, and we'll get into the Chelsea-Arsenal game. This is more banter for my other show, but world class to me, Ronaldinho is world class. He can take the team by the scruff of the neck and say, "Get on my back, I got you." Maradona, world class. Zidane, world class. Cole Palmer's nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. If he was Spanish, it would be like he's an okay player, but he's English, so he's world class. Oh my God. He dropped his shoulder and passed by Partey today. You think he megged 18 guys on his way to on the way to the field, on the way to the goal. I'm not saying he's not going to be world class eventually, but guys, calm down, pump the brakes, take it easy. Take it easy. You pump up Cole Palmer, but Saka doesn't get any rating from anybody. Not world class. Not world class yet. What does he have to do to be world class? But Cole Palmer steps on the field and he's world class? What's the difference between the two? 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. Goal by Martinelli. Gameplay. Better. I mean, they didn't play that bad at Inter Milan during the week. They just, how Inter Milan was able to get 18 defenders on the field at once. I don't know. It's a lot of players back there. Lots of players in the 18-yard box hitting balls out. It's hard to beat that. Lots of guys back there. Parking the bus, as they say, the term that they use. Parking the bus. They were parking an 18-wheeler, a bus. They were parking all the fans' cars were in there. It was awful to watch. Awful football. And that's the best team in Italy. So coming off the Newcastle game, they played really well, and I think they played really well. The second half was a destruction domination. And in this game as well, I mean, you can see that, maybe they're starting to get back to their best form. We did score a goal that was ruled offside. It was offside. Kai Havertz, just if he was standing up straight, I still think it would have been a goal, but he was leaning and he crossed the plane. So that goal was chalked off. But going into Stamford Bridge and pretty much putting them under. I don't remember any real opportunities that Chelsea had. I mean, the goal that they scored, great. I mean, I don't know what Martinelli's doing. I don't know if it wasn't his guy, but just letting Neto come in from the wing and take 3-4 touches before he just rifles one to the bottom corner. I don't know. Someone should have picked him up. I don't know if that was a communication mistake. I don't know if someone was being lazy. I don't know if someone just missed it. I don't know. But I mean, that's the goal that tied the game. And I think from then going forward, Arsenal really had a chance to win that game. Last kick of the game, I mean, another influential play by our captain, Martin Odegaard, finding Saliba on the wing for him to cross a low cross. There was Trossard, Havertz, and I believe at the back post it was Gabriel Jesus. And they were all ahead of every Chelsea defender. It was going to be onside, the goal, if it went in. 100% it was onside. They were behind the ball, cut it back in. Trossard gets a little nick on it, takes it out of Kai Havertz's path. It was a tap-in. It was a tap-in if he leaves it. Empty net tap-in. And it was literally the last kick of the game because when it went out of bounds, Michael Oliver blew the whistle. So, oh my God, that one kills me, and it killed Mikel Arteta. If you were watching the game at the end, you saw him rolling on the ground. Like, oh my God, Trossard just got a little touch on it, and it took it out of the path of Havertz. It was fine margins, guys, fine margins. I think I named one of the shows the other day fine margins. So. Tough draw. Should have won. What are you going to do? Back up into the top four, tied for third with Chelsea, I believe. I think they're ahead on goal differential. But from second to sixth, seventh, I believe, really tight down there. Really tight. And we would have had a chance. Even if we had won the game, we'd still be 9 or 10 points away from Liverpool. And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know how you're going to make that up. Like, they would have to get some serious injuries. Like, they would, like, Konate and Salah and Diaz would have to get injured for them to drop points, I believe. Now, I'll give Darwin Núñez breakaways all day. He'll only score one. Terrible striker. Anyways, getting back to Stamford Bridge. Surprised not to see Nathan Nwari play. Surprised to see Trossard be the guy that came on, even though he played pretty well, Trossard. Surprised that Declan Rice came off. I don't know if he's still feeling the injury. I think he has a toe injury. I don't know if he was feeling it towards the end of the second half. But our midfield was Partey, Moreno, and Odegaard, and that looked pretty good as well. Saka, like I said, wasn't really involved in the game. Cucurella played him well. I think the instruction from the coach was whenever Martinelli or Saka get the ball, play them aggressive. Don't back off. Just go and run right at them and try to take the ball. There was a couple of times they did that. There was a couple of times Martinelli skipped by the challenge and was in on net. So I think the Chelsea game plan was to be very aggressive with the wingers, and it showed today. Saka really wasn't involved in much of the play when who was it came in? I think there was a couple of times that Cucurella was out of position or was in the middle of the field, and I think it was Mudryk was out there covering him. There was a couple of times he was able to swing in crosses and get to the middle to get a shot off. But I mean, against Cucurella, he was kept very, very, very quiet. So, I mean, frustrating draw. Could have been worse. Could have been a loss. I mean, dropping points now. It's the run that we would have to go on to win the league would be unprecedented, and it would have to be absolutely crazy, and everything would have to go your way. And I'm saying this in November. Are Liverpool going to be able to run away with it? Whatever they're doing? I don't know. Is it possible? I don't know. Maybe. It's a long way to go to May, but I mean, you have to pick up points and they have to drop points. And I don't see that happening that often the way they're playing. Let's get into these ratings. I've rattled on for 15 minutes. Let's get really into these ratings quickly. We have David Raya back there. Didn't really make any mistakes. Came out and claimed a lot of balls, crosses. Didn't drop anything. Played really played well to me. I don't think he really had a chance on the goal. Was going the other way, and it was cut back to the far post, or the near post. So. I wouldn't give him too much blame on that. I would blame more of the midfielder and the defenders for giving Neto all that time to get that shot off. So Real would get a 7 today. Missing Calafiore today, so we had to start Mr. Urian Timber on the left-hand side. Was excellent today for me. Excellent today. Getting forward, playing physical, stepping into the midfield inverted. I mean, great. He was excellent today. This is the Urian Timber that I think that we've all been waiting for. I know he's been injured. He's starting to get over that injury. Played the full 90 today. Played during the week as well. So I think he's starting to get his legs under him from that big injury from last year and the one that he got earlier on this year. So he played really well today. So I'm giving him an 8. On the other side, Ben White got a card early in the game, yellow card, and was playing against Neto, but was able to hold his own. Didn't make any real mistakes. From last year, he would always get forward a lot more than he's getting forward this year. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if there's a change in the philosophy on what our right back is supposed to be doing on the overlap. I don't know, but he doesn't overlap as much as he used to. And I don't know if that's because Neto was there and he's fast and he's quick, and we don't want to leave that space in behind. Maybe against a lesser team like Bournemouth or one of those teams down there fighting for relegation spots, Everton and those guys. Maybe we'll see him make the overlap a little bit more, but wasn't really overlapping that much today. Didn't do anything wrong defensively. He gets a 7. In the middle, Gabriel, solid. Didn't do anything wrong. Solid again. Was actually complaining when Neto picked up that ball and was able to get an opportunity on net. Was actually complaining to the midfielders, saying someone has to come and step in and take that away. So he gets an 8. His partner, William Saliba, same 8. Customary 8 from William Saliba. Didn't do anything wrong again. Cutting off passes, getting forward. He had a play in the middle of the field where he drops his shoulder and beats 2 guys with that shoulder drop, and was actually the guy that crossed him that last ball at the last play of the game, right along the ground. Perfect ball. Again, Trossard, whatever. So William Saliba gets an 8. This guy, fantastic again. Could be the man of the match. Should be the man of the match. Fantastic again in the midfield. Him, Moreno, and Odegaard were great in the midfield for that last 20 minutes. Fantastic. He gets an 8. Declan Rice had the quick thinking to play that ball into Havertz for that offside goal, minimal offside goal. Played well. Industry. Always running, always tackling, always tracking back. A lot of soft fouls given today. Putting your hand on someone's shoulder and their legs give out. I don't understand it, but fouls all day. And I don't get it. I'm not going to say anything about Michael Oliver being biased today. Refereed a pretty good game. Lots of soft fouls. But Declan Rice played well. We give him a 7. Who was in the middle with him? And now our captain's back, Mr. Martin Odegaard. He's back. You could see in the beginning of the game, he was, if you're not getting the ball as a player, if you're not getting the ball and you're not as influential as you think you should be, hard work always, is a good thing. Hard work is always a good thing. And he was working hard. He was chasing. He was starting to press. And as you can see, as the game went on, you could see him now starting to build into the game. Now his final touches are, opportunities for us to score. He played the ball in for Martinelli to score. He played another ball in where I believe Moreno should have scored. And, it's a guy you have to mark. You have to watch. If you're making runs off of him, you're going to get the ball, and it's going to be a dangerous situation. So for his first game back, fantastic. He's going to get the same rating as his shirt number. He gets an 8 today. Going to the forward line, Kai Havertz. I mean, going back to Chelsea, playing there, getting all the stick all week, played well, I think. I mean, but we need a striker. I said this last week in last week's show. We need a striker. We need a killer. We need a guy that's going to score goals. Havertz works hard. He's a guy that you can, if he had that role in the midfield, it would be fantastic. But unfortunately, you're gonna have to make your own opportunities sometimes, and he didn't do much of that today. So we're playing high balls in. Hopefully, I know the role for him is to play balls into him, hold it up, and then have Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard pick up, pass it to them and have them running through. I get it. I know that. But as a striker, you got to score goals as well. And these are the games where we need goal scorers. These are the games that we need goals in. It's great to score against Preston North End. I need you to score against Inter Milan, and I need you to score against Chelsea away. I need you to. And we didn't get that today from him. But hard work industry, again, he gets a 7. Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Cucurella had him in his pocket today, I believe. If you disagree, but for me, he was kept quiet. Like I mentioned a couple of times when Cucurella wasn't around, Saka was able to make crosses, even cut in and get some shots off. But when Cucurella was on him, it was tough for him today. So I believe, and like I said, I believe the instruction was don't back off. Just go right at him. If he beats you, the other defender will come across and help you out, but don't back off. Don't let him run at you. And they did that perfectly today, the Chelsea defense. So he gets a 7, like his number. On the other side, I gave this guy a lot of stick last week, Martinelli. In the first half, he was doing the exact same things I was giving him stick for. You have one-on-one, you go down the line, you touch it, you turn around, and you pass it 10 yards backwards. He did that about 4 or 5 times, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore. And then he started, after, I believe, in the second half, he started coming out and, taking guys on and getting to the byline and cutting it back. And then he scored his goal. And that might be the confidence booster he needs to actually start taking on players. Hopefully that's what he needs, to start taking on players. Great goal today. I thought he was going to play it across to Saka, but saw the opening on the near post and took it. It was fantastic. Another goal for Martinelli at Stamford Bridge on that end. He gets a 7 today as well. Sterling wasn't able to play today because of his because he's on loan from Chelsea, so you can't play against your loan team, but or the team that loaned you. But that would have been. I'm a big fan of playing guys that have played previously for that team, because you're going to get a little bit more from those guys. The guys like today, Havertz. If Jorginho was able to play, find a way to play, it might have been, he might have been the key that unlocked part of that Chelsea defense. Who knows? But I'm a very big fan of playing guys that used to play for that team. And that's why I was hoping that last kick of the game, Kai Havertz puts that in and just gives it right to them, right to the fence, for giving him all of that stick today at the game as well. Let's do the substitutes right now. No Calafiori again. We didn't see, like I said, Nwari play. This guy, you can tell he's class now. It's one thing to get your feet wet in the Premier League. It's different from La Liga. It's different from Serie A. It's the pace of the game, the physicality. Everybody's coming for you for the ball. The first couple of games, you could see that maybe he was a little bit shell-shocked in how fast and physical the game is. He's picked that up now. You can just see he's class player. Winning balls, turning guys, playing the ball forward, getting the ball. He's class player. You can tell he's class. And when he gets, and I don't even think he's comfortable yet, when he gets a little bit more games under his belt and more comfortable, he's probably going to be the best midfielder in that league. Believe me. So his performance today, he gets an 8 today from me. He was great today. Oops, not him. Sorry. Never going to see this guy again, I don't think. This guy came in today as well. Again, came in for Saka, who got injured, I believe, or felt something in his groin and came off. Again, like I said last week, I thought he would come on like a house on fire, but just normal. Try to dribble a couple of guys, lose the ball, fall down, look at the ref, fast squad, no foul, and same Gabriel Jesus. I don't know if he needs to be playing through the middle, but that performance today, he gets a 6 from me. And this guy came on as well. talk through the week is he's better as a sub because he started the last couple of games for Arsenal and was not very good. So came on today, was able to chase down a couple of balls, was able to beat a couple of men to get opportunities for us to score. I believe this was one of his better games, and he only had like a 20-minute cameo. So I'm not saying he's a bench player, but there are some guys that are better suited to come on. You know, when other teams' players are probably tired, and I know he doesn't want to hear that because he wants to start. But you got to play as you're most effective, and I think he's most effective coming off the bench. He gets a 7 from me today, and I believe that's it for the substitutions today. Would have loved to have seen Calafiore play against that team. Maybe against Neto. I know he's not as fast as Neto, but he would be more physical with him than Ben White could have because he was on a yellow, but would have loved to have seen that. Mikel Arteta, did he get the lineup wrong today? I don't think so. I don't think so. Played who he was supposed to play. Again, I would have loved to have seen Ethan Nwari play, but especially there. But didn't get a chance to get on. We'll see how he reacts to this performance after another international break for the next 2 weeks. Honestly, it's awful. And guys, I think I mentioned this on this show, or I think it was this show. Let's take note. All the teams that are on the top half of the table. Let's take note on what players go away for international break. How many players those teams have that go away for international break that are key members of their national team. And let's watch on the lower half on how many of those players don't go for international break to their national teams or go and don't play. And then we'll look at the results of the first game back after the international break. And we'll discuss it. Because like I've mentioned before, Arsenal is they're gonna have 8-9 guys go. And they're integral parts of their national team. Is Odegaard gonna go? I don't know. Came back, played 90 today. Does that mean he's healthy? Does that mean he's going? He's the captain of Norway. He's gonna play. Gonna play 90 in both those games? Who knows? Havertz is going, Saka's going, Trossard's going, Rice is going, Partey didn't get called. Saliba's going, Timber's going, I believe Calafiore's going. If he's not injured, David Raya's going, Moreno's going, Martinelli's going. And Wari and Skelly are probably going for the under 21s. I've just named off 12, 13 guys that are probably, and they're not sitting on the bench like Bournemouth players sitting on the bench for their national team. It's a 2-week vacation for them. So let's take note and see who. Oh, from Arteta, he gets a 7 today, or an 8 even. I didn't do anything wrong with the lineup. So let's see who, when you come back from international break, let's see who plays who, and let's see the kind of performance, and let's see the final score. Because that's when you're going to get the Bournemouth beat Arsenal 2-0. What's happening with Arsenal? William Saliba's played 15 games already. It's November. This is going to be 15. This is the 15th game he's played this season, and he's going to play 2 more in the next 2 weeks. So that's 17. And he's going to come back to the next game. That's 18 games from August, second week of August. He's played 18 games, where some people have only played 10 or 11. I'm including Champions League and international games and league games. Some people have only played 10. And I keep harping on Bournemouth, but because who they are, but I'll say someone else, no problem. Brentford or Everton. Let's see how many players from Everton are going away from their national team and are integral players that have to play 90 minutes each game. And let's see who Everton plays. Everton plays Manchester City or Liverpool, who have more. And I'm not saying Arsenal's the only team with 13 guys, 14 guys going. Liverpool, City. I don't know about United. Who knows? Aston Villa, now that they're playing well, and national team coaches are looking at those players that are on Aston Villa. Maybe they get called up if they play. I don't know. But let's see who Everton plays. if they're playing a top side team. And let's see the results. You're not getting the best out of Saka right now. There's two reasons. It could be A, he's hurt and we're playing it down, or second, he's just tired. Just tired. Coming off the summer, 2 weeks off, come back in, Champions League, you have to play, league, you have to play, get called into your national team, you have to play. I don't know. So let's just keep an eye on that, because I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago or 3 or 4 shows ago. People didn't believe me. Let's just see. Let's just see. So guys, that's my player ratings for Chelsea versus Arsenal, Stamford Bridge. It's gonna be a long road. I believe the only trophies that we have. I'm being a realist. I'm not being a naysayer on the Arsenal. I'm just being a realist. It's going to be tough to make up those 11 points that we're behind Liverpool. We got to make noise in Champions League. I don't count Carabao Cup as a trophy, and or you have to win the FA Cup. But if we win the FA Cup, it's who cares? You've won so many of them. Is it really a trophy for you because you've won so many of them? You only win FA Cups. You only win FA Cups. So do we really want to win FA Cup? I don't know. Other teams win an FA Cup. They have a parade and this, that, the third. Arsenal wins an FA Cup. Who cares? Again, that's the only trophy you guys can win. Okay, all right. So guys, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. You're watching it. It's easy. Just hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button at the bottom there. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. We're on all popular podcast platforms. Anywhere you get anywhere you get your podcasts from, we'll be there. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere that you get your podcasts or listen to your podcast. So guys, like I mentioned, another international break for 2 weeks. So no show for 2 weeks at least. I mean, thank God this is the last one of the year. We started the season in August. We have 3 international breaks. 3 international breaks. 3. 1 a month. The next one's in March. So thank God that we don't have any more, and we'll have a nice run of games where Arsenal is going to have to pick up the pace and make a lot of noise. They're going to have to win games. There's not much you can do for teams. You can hope that teams beat Arsenal, or hope that teams beat Liverpool and City and that type of stuff. You can hope that happens, but you have to do the business yourself. You got to win games. You have to win every game. No draws. Not losing is not enough. You have to win those games. So guys, again, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in 2 weeks. Come on, you Gunners.